Collecting goals. What are yours? Mine are going to probably be a little bit odd because my collecting goals right now is to pare down the collection to the stuff that I really want. So, some of that stuff, some of that stuff, some of that stuff, and that stuff. But I'm really just trying to fine tune the collection of stuff that I really want to have, stuff that I want to be able to display. Maybe get rid of some of the stuff that, it's nice, but it's not what I really want to have in the collection anymore. I know that I like to really pare down my GameCube collection because I've got a lot of games in that I don't really care about. I picked up some, like over here we've got the best BST or ASTXN Turtles figures. I was collecting those, and that's pretty much what they've done. They just sat right there. Like Master of the Universe Pops, I think I'm going to open up a bunch of them and gain back some of that space because that's like all that shelf is. And I mean, it's a pretty long shelf. It's probably 7 or 8 feet long, and then down below it's more Pops. And some others. There's some, Kinnikuman stuff. But yeah, there's lots of Pops, Master of the Universe. But like that, there's so much stuff. It's like I don't really even know what to pick to be like. All right, that's what needs to go. This is all stuff I like and like to have displayed more or better. One thing I'm actually thinking about is these Brazilian Master System games. Except for this one, Chapolin X Dracula. It's like Ghost House. Well, it is Ghost House, but it's reskinned, and I really like the reskin of it. But, there's a lot of the PAL Master System games and stuff. Yeah, the Havoc Staff stays. The Power Sword stays. Not a ton of Switch games, but I think it's pretty good stuff. But then we got more Pops over there, and it's like, those are mostly Prins. I think these are all Prins right here. But then I've got, those are mine. And like, I'd love to get some of that stuff displayed. Like this Megacore Magnetizer right there is one I wanted since I was a kid and picked it up a couple months ago. And would really love to get it on display, but like none of these shelves are big enough for it. There's some more M-Tron stuff, Blacktron. But I really like to tighten it up. I mean, and even if I was able to get rid of those turtle figures, that's not a ton of room. But if I can get all of the Pops up on one shelf, maybe that'll do something. But yeah, I'm really trying to look at what I can do to pare down the collection. Because another Lego set I'd really like to get out is this one. This is the Black Sea Barracuda. Was the first really big Lego set I got when I was a kid. I think this was the entire Christmas one year. Was just that. And it's awesome. This is the box. This is the whole thing I had from when I was a kid. And I'd love to put it back together and put it up on a shelf. And then I recently picked up the Pirates of Barracuda Bay, which is like the extension of the Black Sea Barracuda, and so I'd love to have both of those out. Have the island out, and then have that out. But see over here, we got the Master System, and what I'm thinking of doing with this is unboxing some of these games, because between this shelf, this shelf, this shelf, and most of this shelf, there's a complete US set. Like Batman Returns, Aston Martin, I think Ultima 4. From there down is PAL games, but I think it'd be nice to take some of these ones that I'm not necessarily worried about having them complete in box, and just get some sleeves for them. Contact Video Game Dust sleeves, get some sleeves, and just sleeve them up. Maybe do that with all the great sports games. So I could take from here to here all of those, and just boom, all that space, so I could shift some stuff up and maybe get it so I had these boxes just on these two shelves, and then have loose carts down here and maybe down here. Keep the cards, The one I'm really thinking about kind of letting go is James Buster Douglas Knockout Boxing. It doesn't have the manual, but if I keep the cart and just get rid of the case, then it'll just fit down here. And I could keep the US set together, which I've thought about breaking up. But if I do that, then I can keep the whole set, right there, but it'll take up less space. And maybe I can move over the PAL games and have them all the Master System right here. And there's a bunch of Sega Genesis games, like, got to get rid of some of those. There's some more. There's some Master System. There's GameCube. And there's Genesis on the bottom 3. But just, like, my collecting goals are to reduce the size of the collection. Get down to those titles, the things that I really, really want to have in the collection. Or picking up a bunch of games. Like, I dropped the video game loot boxes because I'm done with them. They're just not... I'm not looking for filler. I'm not looking for stuff, just random stuff to have in the collection anymore. It's stuff that I want to have in the collection. Stuff that I want to have take up space. And that limits what I can have, and especially because of the space I have here. But also because it's a mess. It really is. I mean, I don't like it like this. I'd love to get rid of the center aisle over here that has all of the turn around. That has all of these shelves. I'd love to get rid of that so the room was open. So maybe I could, because one thing I'd want to do is I want to be able to stream Kinect stuff. As silly as that might sound, but I'd really like to stream some Kinect. I mean, there's not really much like it. And the 360 store is gone, and I think it'd just be fun to showcase some of those games, because not a lot of people talk about them. It's a blip in gaming history, but I think it's really cool. Then we got some Ultimate Muscle. Oh, one thing you got to see. Let me see. See if I can do this without breaking anything. So, these little Lego heads. It's a little jack-o'-lantern. There you go. It's full of Muscle Men. Nice little storage spot for it. But, then I've got to go through, I think, all these PS2 games. I don't remember how I got them. Some of them might have been in a lot. Some of them, like a buddy gave me. But, yeah, I don't need them. But if I could get rid of this. But then it's like... Oh, and so for going back to James Buster Douglas Boxing, this was what was released in Europe, Heavyweight Champ. It just doesn't have the James Buster Douglas license. So... if you want to have the game and aren't worried about the license, there you go. Much cheaper. It's the same game, just, reskinned. As far as collecting more games, like what I'm really focusing on is Mark III and SG-1000 stuff. The SG-1000. The stuff that I really want to get more of. Some Master System, and there's a couple games here and there from different systems, but... the SG-1000 and the Mark III stuff is really what I'd like to get more of. I'd like to get as much of the collection as I can. I'm not going to spend a ton of money on a single game. So that generally puts out Pachinko, the buggy version from the SG-1000, and Great Ice Hockey for the Mark III. But that's okay. If I can get a good chunk of the library for $60, I just think it's neat. I had never planned on going for a complete set of either, or for the US Master System set. It's just I collected so much that I got that close without really even trying or pushing it. So, but I'd really like to get more of the SG-1000, the Mark III, and some of the educational stuff for the SC-3000 would be really neat to get. But let me stand in front of that. Do with those guys. That's a pretty cool Samus figure. I picked these up some time ago, but it's like, what do I do with those? I had to get Dark Samus when I saw that one. But some of the Aikido figures, I got me a big Sonic ring, so guess what? Robotnik has the big ring. I finally took out a bunch of the small Sonic figures and set them up. Still some more I need to play around with. I want a small quantity of high quality and not crazy expensive stuff either. So games, I've got my set of $60 for a game, a standard edition game. If it's a collector's edition or something, I might go a little bit more, but you know, all of those average is less than $60 a game for everything in my collection, except for one thing maybe, but I traded for it, so including James Buster Douglas Boxing, it was a trade, but something that I picked up at Southeast Game Exchange for a trade, which I just, so Shining the Holy Ark on the Sega Saturn, traded for it, and a couple other things, and like, it's cool, now I've got it, and now what do I do with it? It can go at any point in time. I'm fine with letting it go. But what are some of y'all's collecting goals? Do you have any? Do you collect? I would think you'd collect. What do you collect? Because, oh, I also forgot, you know, I've got baseball cards, and I'm thinking I'm going to cut out most of the baseball cards except for Oakland A's and maybe some Atlanta Braves, because I'm in Braves country. Appreciate everyone watching the video. Hope everyone has a good night. Everybody take care, have fun, be kind to one another, stay safe, keep it retro, or 360. God bless, and we will catch you later. I know that my GameCube collection, my GameCube collection, I really want to go. I know that I want to go through my GameCube. Kubi. It's GameCube. There's something specific I want to talk about over here, and I forgot what it was.